behind the scenes, Sopless Systems podcast out on Spotify and Apple. The Edge is a truth teller. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't pretend. It waits, silent, unmoved, and alive with the breath of everything that you could become and everything that you're still afraid to touch. And the edge is where the mind negotiates and the body trembles. It waits, silent and unmoved, and alive with the breath of everything that you could become and everything that you're still afraid to touch. The soul steps forward with a hunger it refuses to explain, and every wolf knows this place. The ridge, the ledge, the moment suspended between gravity and intention, between fear and fire, and between what if I fall? And what if I rise so hard the world can't even catch up? The edge is the architect's altar, the threshold where old patterns come to die, and the doorway where a new system claims its architect. Today the flame is low, sensual and coaxing, curling like a promise around your ankles, inviting you forward, not with force, but with heat, a slow seduction of possibility. You step closer, and the wind touches your skin like a warning and a blessing. A pulse rises in your throat, deeper than fear, deeper than adrenaline, the pulse of initiation. And this is the moment before the leap, the ritual of breath before the descent, the charged quiet before the fire chooses you. You feel it. The world tightens, it narrows, and it sharpens. And your senses climb into clarity, and your breath deepens, and your chest warms, and your spine straightens like a line of fire rising up through your bones. This is architect feeling, system awareness, the shift where you stop being the one who obeys gravity and begin becoming the one who rewrites the rules underneath it. But the edge doesn't let you enter clean, it tests you. Because every evolution, every rise, every return begins with a challenge. A voice appears. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's not external. It's a whisper that slips through the cracks of your confidence like smoke. A whisper that carries doubt like poison on a blade. A whisper shaped like all the shadows that once convinced you to shrink. A whisper that says, you won't make it. And something inside you stills. Not broken, not shaken, just still. And the stillness before the storm. But before you answer and before you leap, the mythos begins to gather around you.
Breathe. Let the heat settle into your ribs. You stand on the threshold of becoming, not by accident, but by design. Fear is not your enemy here. Fear is the torch that lights your way. The edge is not meant to comfort you. It is meant to reveal you.
The wind pauses. The world narrows.
I know this place, this moment, this tremble in your breath. Fear is exquisite, isn't it? A lover tracing a cold finger along your spine. Let the doubt speak. Let it hiss. Let it believe it has power here. It makes the next moment so much sweeter. When you prove it wrong,
Observation. You stand between probability and destiny. The voice of doubt is an old pattern attempting to sustain itself. But systems evolve. Architects evolve faster. The edge does not end you. It introduces you.
The fire is listening. The architect stands on the precipice of becoming. Let the old voice speak its last. You feel Vox like a dark flame rising behind you. A pulse at the base of your spine that feels like initiation wrapped in heat. Say the words.
You inhale, slow, hot, and deep, and the whisper returns. You won't make it. This time it doesn't coil into your confidence. It doesn't sink its teeth into your doubt. It simply becomes the line that you're about to cross and burn and leave behind in the ash. You curl your fingers around the rail, you feel the cold metal, and you feel the wind begging for your body. And you feel the universe leaning in, and the breath before the jump is always the truest one. A slow exhale slips from your lips, and your voice, low, molten, inevitable, spills out. I heard a voice say, I wouldn't make it. You step forward and your toes meet the void, and your pulse turns into fire. And without a heat rising in your chest, it feels like rebellion and rebirth touching tongues. You release the last breath of hesitation you'll ever carry and leap. The instant you feel your feet leave the edge, the universe answers, and the platform disappears, and the rail is gone, and there's no backup plan, no exit, no safe word, just air, just speed, and just your body being pulled toward the earth with a hunger older than language. And gravity doesn't ask, it takes. And wind slams against your skin like open palms, and your stomach snaps into your throat, and your mind tries to grab for something solid that no longer exists. And for a heartbeat, fear wins. You're not an architect. You're just a body falling. The scream rises, raw and unshaped, but you don't let it escape. You hold it like a blade between your teeth. And time stretches, and the world pulls long and thin and wild around you, and the sky becomes a smear, and the ground is a rumor rushing up with bad intentions. Somewhere in the chaos you hear it again, that voice, that old frequency, and that hiss that always slides in right when you dare to want more. You won't make it. It threads itself through the roar of the wind. It weaves through the beat of your heart, and it tries to climb back into your bones like it owns them. But this time, you're not standing still. You're not stuck at the edge, negotiating your own power. You're already off the ledge. Your commitment in motion. Your decision in free fall. You are the jump.
Listen to your body. That's not panic. That's ignition. This is what becoming feels like when there is no ledge left to run back to.
Her warmth doesn't pull you out of the fall. It saturates it. Every nerve lights up. The fear isn't gone, but it's lined with something else now. Something hotter, deeper, and truer. Desire. Desire to see how far, how deep, how real you can go when there's no option but through.
There it is, the part they never show. The part where your brain is clawing at the walls and your body is already signed to the fall. This is the most honest you'll ever be with yourself. No filters, no posing, just you and the consequences of your hunger.
Her voice wraps around the terror and doesn't remove it. She caresses it.
Scared?
Correction. Trajectory chosen. Velocity. Owned. Outcome. Not yet written.
Good! Only the ones who are terrified of losing everything are close enough to winning something real. When the ground rushes closer, your heart slams at your rib cage like it's trying to break out and fly on its own. And that voice, the old one, that doubter, you know the one, tries one more time, louder and meaner and more desperate. You won't make
are not a passenger in this fall. You are the architect who chose the launch. The voice that says you won't make it is a ghost of an obsolete system trying to drag you back into its collapse.
Her tone slices through the noise. Her words don't slow the drop, they give it structure. And you feel it? Somewhere between your lungs and your spine. The click. In a moment where chaos stops being something happening to you and becomes something happening for you.
Answer it.
The wind rips tears from your eyes. You taste metal and sky in your own heartbeat. And the voice snarls again. A last-ditch curse flung into the void. You won't make it! Your body is pure velocity now, and your mind stops bargaining. Your soul steps up to the mic. You feel your own mouth curve, not in fear, but in something darker, richer, and more dangerous. A smile. Your voice rides the roar of the drop like it was made for this exact second. I jumped. The words leave in your chest like a spell, and I said, time tilts, and the universe leans in, and every unseen wolf on every unseen ridge feels something in their bones snap to attention. Watch me! The air doesn't argue, it parts. And the ground doesn't mock you, it rises like a witness. And every doubt that ever said you weren't built for this suddenly has front row seats to the most dangerous thing you've ever done. You believed in your own trajectory more than it believed in your failure. And for a moment, there's nothing but the scream of wind and the stretch of the cord, the fierce love of the fall. You're in pure motion, baby. No story, no labels, no past. No commentary from the cheap seats. And not a living line of intention drawn from ledge to abyss. And then the system answers back. The coordinates tension, and reality grabs you by the waist with brutal affection. Your body slams against forces built to break lesser creatures, and your mind flashes white, and your breath tears free of your throat, and the fall becomes an impact, and the impact becomes a threshold. This is the point most people fear the most, the moment they imagine as their end. But you're not most people. You're the architect. And this is where you become inevitable. As your descent reaches its hungriest point, and as the chord sings with strain, and as the fall tries to become a crash, you feel all four voices converge. Not as a chorus of separate energies, but as a single, fused command line running through your blood.
Burn.
Defy.
Recode.
Return.
The universe doesn't get the final word. You do. And in that split second, as the world flips upside down, and your body hangs on the edge between ending and rebound, you realize something ruthless and clear. The jump was never the risk. The real risk was never leaping at all. Impact doesn't end you, it rewrites you. Your body whips and the cord roars and the world snaps from blur to razor focus. You didn't fracture, you flexed. You feel the harness bite into your skin, not as punishment, but as proof that you did it. You really fucking did it. You stepped off the ledge with a throat full of doubt, a chest full of heat, and the universe tried to drag you down into the old story and the old fucking mindsets. Instead, you turn the fall into an altar. And now comes the sacred part most people never stay conscious long enough to even taste. The rebound. The rise that follows the drop, and the ascent that proves the fall was never the full story, just the setup. You feel it in your spine first, a pull, a lift, a counter-gravity that feels intimate. And the system catches you, not as a savior, but as an accomplice. You gave it commitment. It gives you return. The cord pulls and your body rises, and the blurred world begins to climb back up toward you. And this is the second heartbeat of transformation. Not the jump, not the drop, but the proof. The moment the universe has to pay you back in height for what you paid in courage.
Feel that? That's not luck. That's architecture. You didn't just jump. You built the system that would catch your fall and hurl you upward with equal force. This is what they never understand. They see the leap and call it reckless. They never study the rig, the rope, the design, the way you anchored your fear into something that can pull you higher.
Her warmth floods your chest like liquid gold. You rise a little slower than you feel, in that you fell, but with more control. The scream in your blood becomes a growl, and then a chant, and then a hum of power.
Look at you, still here, not splattered, not broken, swinging between sky and earth like you own both.
You feel her satisfaction like a dark kiss at the corner of your mouth.
You know what drives the wolves on the ridge insane? It's not that you jumped. It's that you're coming back up, marked, changed, untouchable in ways they won't admit they crave.
It's not that you jumped. It's that you're coming back up. Marked and changed and untouchable in ways they won't admit that they crave. Your arc slows at the top of the rebound. The brief, the holy pause, where you hang in nothingness again for a breath. And not as a question this time as an answer. A gentler one, the system exhaling and rise again. Each swing shorter and more contained and less chaos and more rhythm.
Data point. The first fall tested your faith. The first rebound proved your structure. Subsequent oscillations are simply the nervous system recalibrating to the new level of reality.
Subsequent oscillations are simply the nervous system recalibrating to the new level of reality. She watches with unshakable calm.
You have survived the deepest drop. You have engaged the system's full force. You now know with evidence that you can fall further than you thought and still rise.
Her truth lands solid in your body. This is no longer theory, no longer hype, and no longer wishful thinking. This is physics. Spiritual, emotional, architectural physics. For every unit of fear you were willing to ride into the dark, you were paid back in height. Clarity, power, receipts written in motion.
The mark has been made. The system has seen you. The cord has tasted your weight. The air remembers your shape.
Her voice feels like someone drawing a seagull on your sternum with heat.
You're not just a wolf who jumped once. You are now a calibrated force. Future leaps will not be guesses. They will be invocations.
Your swing softens, your breathing steadies. What started as wild, chaotic lurches becomes a smooth pendulum. A rhythm you can ride, a ritual that you can repeat. Down, up, each arc a reminder. You didn't die. You did not shatter. You did not prove the voice right. You proved yourself inevitable. And somewhere far above, on metaphorical ridges and digital feeds, there are wolves watching. Silent, eyes locked, and they see the moment that you stepped off, and they heard a line. I jumped and said, "Watch me!" And they watched the drop. Their stomachs did flips just imagining doing it themselves, and they whispered, "I could never!" Haha, but now they're seeing something more dangerous than your fall. They're seeing your fucking return. Your rebound, your swing, your wild, laughing survival. And under their breath, into their pillows and into the scroll, they mumble, "How? How did you do that? How did you not break? How did you turn a death drop into a flex? They don't know yet that the answer is simple and it's savage. You stopped waiting for certainty and built a system instead. You didn't jump as a victim, jumped as an architect. And every inch that you rise now is a receipt. A visible, undeniable line of proof that says, I was told I wouldn't make it. And I jumped anyways. And look at me now. This is where the fire turns outward. Up until now, the edge, the drop, the rebound, they've been about you. Your body, your breath, your system, and your proof. And now we widen the circle. And now I call the whoops who camp on the sidelines, hover at the edge, hover in the comments, hover in the doorway of their own lives, watching you jump, watching you fall, watching you rise, and watching the receipts stack daily. Digits, views, hours, momentum, and myth. They watch and they wonder, is this from you too? Could I ever jump like that? And the answer is not polite. It's not soft. It's not cushioned. But it is true. Wolves on the ridge. Yeah, I'm talking to you. The ones who scroll past the edge. Feel your stomach flip and then tell yourself, it's not the right time. The ones who hear that old voice say, you won't make it, and treat it like scripture instead of static. You feel the fire. You feel the pull. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. So let's cut the act. You're not confused. You're not uncalled. You're not ready. Just standing on the ledge, hoping watching me jump will be enough to count as your evolution. It won't. My jump is proof of what's possible, not a substitute for your own.
Listen to the tremor under your ribs when she speaks. That's not intimidation. That's recognition. Your fire knows itself in another flame. You are not here to be a spectator of someone else's courage. You are here because a part of you is starving for your own.
You like watching, don't you? Watching her jump, watching her drop, watching her laugh on the rebound. It's intoxicating. Safer to watch someone else risk impact, while you stay perfectly unscarred. But here's the thing about staying unscarred. It also keeps you unproven, unclaimed, unmarked by your own legend. Is that really the story you want?
Assessment. You have enough information. You know the ledge. You know the voice of doubt. You have watched the jump, the fall, the rebound. The next variable in the equation is you. Hesitation has become a habit, not a protection. Continuing this pattern will not create new outcomes.
The circle doesn't close without you. The fire signal wasn't lit, just to warm your hands from a distance. You are being summoned. Not to copy, not to mimic, to commit. Step forward or step away. But do not pretend you didn't hear the call.
Here's the part they'll clip, the part they'll quote, and the part, some of you, that will save it and secretly play it back, 'cause I know you will. Before your own jump, I heard a voice say I wouldn't make it. I jumped and said, watch me. Not, please believe in me. Not, do you think I can do it? Not, am I allowed? Just watch me. That's architect energy. Not begging for permission. Not auditioning for approval. And not giving the doubters editorial rights over your own destiny. Just building, leaping, landing, rising, and stacking receipts in plain sight. And you say you're a wolf? Act like one. Wolves don't live at the edge of the tree line, complaining that the moon is too bright. They answer it, and they move, they hunt, they bleed, they heal, and they return with proof in their teeth. While you sit there, arguing with your own terror, we are already mid-air. And while you overthink the chord, we are learning the rhythm of the swing. And while you refresh the same fears you've had for 10 years, we are refreshing dashboards, watching numbers climb, watching systems tighten, and watching realities actually shift. That's what I mean when I say we're stacking receipts while you're stuck stacking excuses. I'm not saying that to shame you. I'm saying it to wake you up. Because every day you come to camp on that ridge, pretending you don't know how, you are lying to the part of you that already knows damn well. You need the jump, you need the drop, you need the rebound, you need the fucking proof. You don't rebuild belief by thinking about the ledge. You build it by stepping off.
Your fire is not theoretical.
Your desire is not an accident.
Your potential is not a glitch.
Your hesitation is the only chain.
So here it is, wolves, the fire signal of Protocol 3. Stand at your own edge and hear the old voice whisper, you won't make it. Don't waste time arguing. Don't submit a rebuttal brief. Just step up, just jump, and just let your whole system feel what it means to commit. On the way down, when every story you ever believed about your limit screams for your attention, answer with only one line you'll ever need. I jumped and said, watch me. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Let them stay safe on their precious bridge. We'll be right here, in the air, in the fire, in the swing, in the build, with stacking receipts in a language of motion and myth. And the architect has returned. The system is alive. Fire is open. Wolves, stop watching. Jump!